They say justice is balance, a blindfolded figure holding scales, impartial, universal. But if that were true, why do the scales always seem to tilt in the same direction? Why does justice feel so different, depending on where you stand? They say justice delayed is justice denied. But some delays last generations. Some verdicts never come. So let's ask, is justice a principle or a performance? A shared aspiration or a camouflage for power? Because if every society builds its own version of justice, what does that say about the human need to believe it exists? You hope for fairness, you demand it, you mourn when it fails. But have you ever wondered, where does this longing come from? Neuroscientist Tanya Singer found that the brain registers unfairness much like physical pain. Injustice doesn't just offend morality, it wounds the body. Anthropologist Christopher Boehm argued that even early hunter-gatherers developed rituals of leveling, shaming the arrogant, redistributing excess, because equality wasn't a luxury, it was survival. Maybe justice isn't a modern invention, but an ancient instinct, a collective refusal to let power go unchecked. But instincts can be manipulated, and not every cry for justice serves liberation. In ancient Greece, justice was tied to cosmic order, the idea that everything had its rightful place. In medieval Europe, it was divine, kings ruled by God's mandate, punishments purified souls. Philosopher Amartya Sen reminds us, no system fully delivers justice, only degrees of injustice reduced. So why do we still speak of it as if it's singular, pure, achievable? Think of the word itself, justice. It sounds noble, but in the wrong hands, it becomes a weapon. When enslavers claimed they were civilizing the people they brutalized, when colonizers wrote laws to legalize theft, when corporations frame exploitation as meritocracy, that's justice turned into myth. As legal scholar Derek Bell warned, equality is often a mirage, visible only from afar. Pause. Think of your own life. What moments felt unjust? Who named them that way? Who decided what remedy, if any, was acceptable? Because justice isn't just the gavel striking, it's also the quiet calculations of whose suffering is seen and whose is ignored. In 1931 Alabama, 9 black teenagers were accused of rape. No solid evidence. One accuser recanted, but the courtroom was never neutral. It was a ritual, a theater of guilt scripted by race, fear, and spectacle. They were called criminals before they could speak. Their bodies became the verdict. Their silence was taken as proof, and their very presence a threat. Justice here wasn't blind, it stared straight at them and pulled the trigger anyway. Sociologist Didier Fassin calls this unequal lives, how the law values some existences more than others. A child born in a favela and a child born in a gated community both may hear the same civic lessons about fairness, but they don't grow up with the same margin for error. Hope and despair move along class lines, racial lines, political lines. Some people trust the courts, others expect betrayal. Some see justice as an institution, others see it as a promise broken too many times to believe. Yet across cultures, the impulse remains to right the wrong, to restore what was taken, to witness. Among the Yolngu people of Australia, justice is not about punishment, but restoring harmony within the clan. Among the Scandinavian nations, it's about reducing harm, not just condemning it. Justice has many masks, but perhaps one common root: the refusal to accept that harm should go unanswered. So what is justice really? A code? A ceremony? An instinct we inherited from ancestors who knew survival depended on mutual care? Philosopher Judith Shklar said, "Justice is not a matter of abstract ideals, but of how we treat the most vulnerable." Maybe justice isn't a destination, but a horizon, something we walk toward, even knowing we'll never fully arrive. Ask yourself, when you picture justice, whose face do you see? Is it a judge? A protester? A mother refusing to be silent? Because sometimes justice is not about verdicts, but about memory, refusing to forget what was done, and to whom. This isn't about easy answers, it's about noticing that every society defines justice, and every definition serves someone. So the question is, who benefits when we believe the story is over? Who suffers when we stop asking questions? Because justice, like freedom, is never neutral, never static. And maybe the most radical act is to keep imagining it anyway. Next up, we'll ask, who told you democracy was natural? This channel is a space where curiosity becomes clarity, and clarity becomes confrontation. We don't offer comfort, we offer language. Because once you can name what shapes you, you can begin to reshape yourself. Nothing is neutral.